You become what you think, a truth so simple, yet so profound that it carries the power to change every aspect of your life. This chapter is the very essence, the living heartbeat of everything you've heard throughout this book. Think of it as the final map, the cocker, the blueprint, of how to master your mind and, by doing so, master your destiny. The thoughts you allow to take root in your mind shape your emotions, your actions, your habits, and ultimately, your entire reality. Every great transformation begins first in thought. Before a man builds a house, he first imagines it. Before a leader inspires nations, she first believes she can. Before success becomes a story, it begins as a thought. Chapter 1. Every transformation begins with a single thought, and within that thought lies the seed of everything you will ever become. The truth is simple yet profound. You become what you think. Your thoughts are not random flickers of imagination passing through your mind. They are the architects of your destiny, the blueprints of your reality. Every emotion, every action, every decision begins in the quiet space of thought. When you wake in the morning, it is your thinking that decides whether you rise with gratitude or drag yourself through the day with dread. When you look at a challenge, it is your thoughts that determine whether it becomes a stepping stone or a stumbling block. The quality of your thinking determines the quality of your life. The world you see outside is nothing more than a mirror reflecting the world within. If you think with fear, you will see reasons to be afraid. If you think with courage, you will see opportunities everywhere. Thoughts are magnetic. They attract their own kind. A person who thinks of failure continually finds reasons to fail, while one who thinks of success begins to notice possibilities that others overlook. Every great achievement in history began first as a thought, a dream that refused to die. The inventor, the leader, the artist, the athlete, all started with a mental image of what could be, long before the world could see it. That image, repeated with faith, became reality. The same law works in your life. Whatever you hold in your mind with belief and emotion begins to shape your reality. You cannot plant the seeds of doubt and expect a harvest of confidence. You cannot think poverty and attract abundance. Your outer life is a reflection of your inner conversations. To change your life, you must first change your thoughts. This is the foundation of mental mastery, the realization that you are not a victim of circumstance, but a creator of conditions. The mind is like fertile soil. It grows whatever you plant in it. If you fill it with worries, fears, and self-pity, you will harvest anxiety, hesitation, and defeat. But if you fill it with gratitude, purpose, and discipline, you will harvest peace, progress, and success. The choice is always yours. You are the thinker, and the thinker creates. Most people drift through life unaware of the power they hold within. They let the world do their thinking for them. They absorb the fears of society, the doubts of others, the limitations of the past, and then wonder why they feel trapped. But the moment you take back control of your mind, everything changes. You begin to see that nothing outside of you has power over you unless you give it permission. Your thoughts become your shield, your guide, your compass. You begin to live with intention instead of reaction. The greatest freedom in life is the freedom to choose what to think. Every thought is a brushstroke on the canvas of your future. Paint with purpose. When you wake, choose gratitude. When you fail, choose learning. When you fear, choose faith. When you doubt, choose action. Thought, when directed by will, becomes creation. Every goal you achieve, every dream you fulfill, every change you make, begins first in the invisible workshop of your mind. You must learn to use your mind as a craftsman uses his tools, with care, with patience, and with mastery. If you misuse it, it will build walls of limitation. If you master it, it will open doors of possibility. The universe responds not to your words, but to your vibration, the energy of your dominant thoughts. When your thoughts are clear and focused, your actions align, and your reality shifts to match them. The journey to mastering your mind begins by realizing that your thoughts are not you. They are choices you can shape. You can watch them, guide them, and redirect them toward the life you desire. No one can do this work for you. No book, no teacher, no mentor can think your thoughts for you. They can guide you, but you must do the inner work. You must train your mind to think consciously, to reject negativity, to focus on what you want instead of what you fear. Over time, this discipline becomes natural. Your thoughts become your allies, your emotions become your power, and your results become inevitable. This is the first and most important step toward mastering your mind, understanding that you are not a product of your past, but a product of your present thinking. Every new thought is a new beginning. Every positive thought plants a seed for a brighter future. Your thoughts build your beliefs shape your actions, and your actions define your destiny. Remember this always, you are one thought away from a completely different life. So guard your thoughts like treasure, because they are. What you choose to think today will become who you are tomorrow. You become what you think, and your mind, your most powerful tool, is waiting for your command. Chapter 2. Your mind is the most powerful instrument you will ever possess, yet most people hand over control of it to the noise of the world without realizing what they are giving away. Every day, countless thoughts, images, and emotions flood your mind from social media, television, conversations, and memories, shaping the way you think, feel, and act. Most of these thoughts are not even your own. They are borrowed from the people and environment around you. But true power begins when you decide to take ownership of your mental space. You must reclaim your mind from the world and recognize that you are the master, not the servant. Your mind is like a fertile garden. It will grow whatever you plant in it. If you leave it unattended, weeds of fear, doubt, and negativity will take over. But when you deliberately plant seeds of clarity, confidence, and gratitude, your life begins to bloom with purpose and peace. Every thought you allow to enter your mind is a seed. Every emotion you nurture is water. Every belief you reinforce is sunlight. Together they create the garden of your destiny. You cannot expect a harvest of joy if you plant thoughts of misery. You cannot expect abundance when you constantly dwell on lack. Life gives you what your mind demands through the law of focus. Whatever you hold your attention on expands. That is why it is essential to protect the gates of your mind. You are constantly bombarded by the opinions, fears, and expectations of others, and if you do not consciously filter them, they will plant themselves within you and shape your life without your permission. The average person allows the outside world to become the author of their inner dialogue. They let headlines decide their mood, let others' doubts determine their confidence, and let past pain dictate their future. But you were not born to be average, you were born to be aware. To master your mind, you must become the guardian of your thoughts. Just as you would not let anyone dump garbage in your home, do not let negative ideas settle in your mind. You must learn to observe your thoughts like clouds drifting through the sky. You are not every cloud you see. Some are dark, some are light, but none define the sky itself. The sky is infinite, just as your mind is infinite. The mistake is believing that every passing thought is true. It isn't. Thoughts are visitors, you decide which ones to let stay. When you take back control of your mind, you take back control of your life. The world may try to program you to think small, to accept limits, to conform to fear, but you can break that spell through awareness and choice. The first step is to notice what you are thinking throughout the day. What dominates your inner conversation? Is it hope or worry? Is it confidence or doubt? Is it faith or fear? Whatever you repeat becomes your belief, and your belief becomes your reality. If your inner voice constantly criticizes you, challenges you, or reminds you of failure, it is time to replace that voice with one of power and peace. Speak to yourself with intention. Feed your mind with wisdom, not worry. Listen to words that build you up, not tear you down. Choose books, people, and experiences that inspire you to grow. Your mind cannot rise above what you feed it. A mind that is nourished with inspiration, discipline, and gratitude becomes unstoppable. The second step is to silence the noise around you. Find time each day to disconnect from the world and reconnect with yourself. In silence, you gain clarity. In stillness, you regain control. The world is loud, but your inner guidance is quiet. And you can only hear it when you turn down the external volume. When you create space in your mind, new ideas emerge, peace returns, and focus sharpens. You begin to think with direction instead of distraction. The third step is to practice mental discipline. Your mind will wander. It will drift toward fear, comparison, and doubt, but you can train it just like a muscle. Each time you redirect it toward gratitude, strength, or purpose, it becomes stronger. Mental mastery is not about stopping thoughts. It is about choosing them. You will always have both positive and negative thoughts available to you, but the master learns which to feed. Remember, what you nurture grows. Feed faith, starve fear. Feed focus, starve distraction. Feed self-belief, starve doubt. Over time, this practice transforms the landscape of your mind. You begin to feel lighter, calmer, and more in control. You no longer react to life, you respond to it. You become the deliberate creator instead of the passive observer. And soon, the outer world begins to reflect your inner discipline. Opportunities appear where there was once confusion. Relationships heal where there was once conflict. Confidence grows where there was once hesitation. This is the power of reclaiming your mind. Your outer success will always mirror your inner order. When your thoughts are clear, your path becomes clear. When your mind is strong, your life becomes stable. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker. You are not your fears. You are the awareness behind them. The mind is your greatest servant when trained, but your worst master when neglected. The moment you decide to take charge of it, your life begins to shift in ways that seem almost magical. You are not here to be controlled by the chaos of the world. You are here to think, to create, to rise, and to lead your life with awareness. Guard your mind, nurture it, and use it wisely, because every thought is a seed, and the garden it creates is the story of your life. Chapter 3, the law of focus, is one of the most powerful forces governing the human mind, and understanding it is the key to mastering your thoughts, emotions, and destiny. Whatever you focus on expands. It grows larger, stronger, and more dominant in your awareness until it becomes your reality. Your mind is like a magnifying glass, and your attention is the sunlight it directs. Whatever you choose to focus on begins to burn with intensity and come to life. If you focus on fear, you will see danger everywhere. If you focus on hope, opportunities will appear in the same place where fear once lived. The truth is, your external world is only a reflection of your internal focus. You may not always be able to control what happens to you, but you can always control what you give your attention to. That single choice determines the direction of your life. Focus is the bridge between thought and manifestation. When your mind is scattered, your energy is weak. But when your mind is focused, your energy becomes unstoppable. Every great achievement in history, every invention, discovery, or act of creation was born from focused attention. The difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary is not talent, luck, or intelligence. It is the ability to focus deeply and consistently on a vision until it becomes real. Most people drift through life in mental distraction, jumping from one worry to another, one desire to another, without realizing they are wasting the most powerful creative force they possess. They wonder why they feel stuck, anxious, or unfulfilled. It is because their focus is fragmented. You cannot build anything meaningful when your attention is divided between fear and faith, between past regrets and future worries. Your mind is like a camera. It captures whatever you aim it at. If you keep pointing it toward problems, you will fill your life with more of them. But if you aim it toward solutions, possibilities, and gratitude, the scenery of your life changes instantly. Focus is a choice, and that choice must be made deliberately. Each morning when you wake, ask yourself, what will I focus on today? Because that decision will shape your mood, your behavior, and your outcomes. If you focus on what you lack, you will feel inadequate. If you focus on what you have, you will feel abundant. The power of focus lies not in controlling circumstances, but in mastering perception. Two people can face the same challenge. One sees defeat, the other sees opportunity. The difference is not in the event itself, but in where they place their attention. To master your mind, you must learn to direct your focus toward growth, not fear. The human brain is wired to notice threats. It is a survival mechanism. But mastery is about rising above instinct and choosing awareness. You train your focus the way a warrior sharpens a sword, through discipline, patience, and clarity. Start by observing where your attention goes throughout the day. Notice how often it drifts toward complaints, worries, or distractions. Each time it does, gently bring it back to what empowers you. This act of redirection builds mental strength. Over time, you will discover that you can command your attention instead of being ruled by it. With focus, even small actions become powerful. Without it, even great ideas fade into nothing. A focused mind sees possibilities in obstacles, lessons in failures, and hope in uncertainty. When you focus on solutions, the mind becomes creative. It begins to see connections, patterns, and opportunities that were invisible before. The law of focus turns thoughts into results, because energy flows where attention goes. Imagine a river. If it spreads out in every direction, it becomes shallow and weak. But when it is channeled, it becomes a force strong enough to carve through mountains. That is the power of focused thought. You can use this same principle in your life. When you focus on personal growth, your habits align with it. When you focus on peace, your actions begin to reflect calmness. When you focus on gratitude, you attract reasons to be thankful. Whatever you repeatedly focus on becomes your dominant vibration, and that vibration shapes your experience of life. This is why it is so important to focus not on what you fear, but on what you want to create. The mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It only responds to focus. If you continually think about pain, your body and emotions react as if that pain were happening now. But if you continually think about healing, success, and joy, your mind begins to build new pathways toward them. Focus is the steering wheel of consciousness. Where you direct it determines where you go. To master it, you must also learn to eliminate distractions. The world is full of noise, endless notifications, opinions, and temptations pulling at your attention. If you do not take charge of your focus, someone else will. Guard it as your greatest resource, because it is. Spend time each day in quiet reflection, even if only for a few minutes. Breathe deeply and direct your awareness inward. Ask yourself what truly matters and devote your focus to that. Over time, your focus will become your superpower. It will guide you through chaos and toward clarity, through fear and toward freedom. You will realize that peace is not the absence of problems, but the presence of focus on what truly matters. Every successful person, every fulfilled soul, every wise mind lives by this law. They focus on what they want, not on what they fear. They choose to see light even in darkness, to find lessons even in loss. You can do the same. Focus is not something you find, it is something you build. And once you master it, you unlock the creative force that shapes worlds. The law of focus is the law of creation. What you give your attention to, you give your life to. So choose wisely, for wherever your focus goes, your future grows. Our thoughts and emotions are inseparable companions, two sides of the same coin that constantly shape the quality of your life. What you think, you eventually feel, and what you feel becomes the atmosphere in which you live. Your emotions are not random, they are mirrors reflecting the nature of your thoughts. When your mind is filled with gratitude, hope and love, your emotions rise like sunlight warming every part of your being. But when your thoughts are drenched in fear, resentment, and worry, your emotions darken like storm clouds blocking out all light. You cannot expect peace when your thoughts are chaotic, nor can you expect joy when your mind is filled with doubt. Every emotion is an echo of a thought, and every thought has a vibration that resonates through your entire body. The moment you understand this connection, you begin to realize that your emotional state is not something that simply happens to you. It is something you create, moment by moment, through your thinking. When you think of someone with love, you feel warmth and peace. When you think of them with anger, you feel tension and pain. The emotion always follows the thought, just as the shadow follows the body. That is why mastering your emotions begins with mastering your thoughts. Most people try to control their emotions by suppressing them, distracting themselves, or pretending they don't exist. But this only deepens their pain. You cannot fight emotions into peace. You must think your way into peace. The mind is the cause, and emotion is the effect. To change the effect, you must address the cause. When you feed your mind with positive, empowering, and uplifting thoughts, your emotions will naturally follow. Joy is not something to be pursued, it is something to be produced by aligning your thinking with truth, love. Every emotion carries a message. Sadness invites reflection, anger calls for boundaries, fear asks for courage, and joy reminds you that you are aligned with your purpose. Instead of resisting emotions, learn to listen to them. They are signals, not enemies. They reveal what kind of thoughts are dominating your mind. When you feel anxious, ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? You will often discover a pattern of fear or worry behind that feeling. Once you shift the thought, the emotion begins to dissolve. This is true power, the ability to transform your emotional state not by escaping life but by consciously guiding your mind. Emotions are energy in motion, and if you let that energy flow instead of resisting it, it will pass. But if you hold on to negative thoughts, you trap that energy inside you and it becomes stress, anger, or sadness. The secret is not to deny emotions but to direct them. For instance, when you feel fear, use that energy as fuel for focus. When you feel anger, channel it into productive action. When you feel love, expand it through kindness. Every emotion, when understood, becomes a source of power. This is the art of emotional intelligence, the mastery of thought and feeling working together in harmony. It is not about being positive all the time, it is about being conscious all the time. Awareness is the bridge between thought and emotion. When you are aware, you no longer get lost in your feelings, you observe them. You begin to understand that you are not your emotions, you are the one experiencing them. You are the sky, emotions are just passing weather. Sometimes sunny, sometimes cloudy, but never permanent. The moment you stop identifying with them, they lose their grip on you. Peace comes when you learn to let thoughts flow without judgment and emotions rise without fear. When you master this, you stop being a prisoner of mood swings and start becoming the creator of emotional stability. The practice of gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to transform emotion instantly. Gratitude redirects your thoughts from what's missing to what's present, from lack to abundance. The moment you begin to count your blessings, your emotions soften and lift. Try it when you feel low. Simply name 3 things you are thankful for. Your mind shifts, and your emotions follow like a loyal companion. Love and gratitude are the highest frequencies you can think and feel. They dissolve negative emotions naturally, without force. Another tool for emotional mastery is forgiveness. Holding on to anger or resentment is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. Forgiveness does not excuse what happened. It frees your heart from being chained to it. When you think forgiving thoughts, you release pain and make room for peace. Every emotion you feel has a corresponding thought, and every thought can be changed. The more you practice awareness, the faster you can transform negative emotion into positive energy. This doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing the thought that empowers you even when things are difficult. Life will always present challenges, but your emotional experience depends on what you think about those challenges. You can think, this is the end, or you can think, this is a lesson. The first thought brings despair, the second brings growth. Your emotions obey the master that commands your mind. Train that master well. When you learn to think in alignment with peace, gratitude, and strength, your emotions become allies on your journey instead of obstacles in your way. Remember, every feeling you have is an invitation to rise above reaction and choose awareness. When you honor your emotions by guiding your thoughts, you create inner balance no matter what happens around you. Your emotions will no longer control you, they will serve you. And in that mastery, you will discover one of life's greatest truths. Peace is not found by changing your circumstances, but by changing the way you think about them. Chapter 5. Your beliefs are the invisible architects of your life, the silent codes that shape every decision, reaction, and outcome you experience. They live deep within your mind, influencing everything you do, often without your awareness. Every belief begins as a single thought, a thought repeated so often that it becomes accepted as truth. And once the mind accepts something as truth, it builds your entire reality around it. If you believe you are strong, you will find strength even in the darkest times. If you believe you are weak, every challenge will feel impossible. Your beliefs are like the lens through which you view the world. They don't change reality itself, but they determine how you interpret and respond to it. Two people can face the same situation, yet one will see defeat while the other sees opportunity. The difference is not in what they face, but in what they believe. That is why belief is the foundation of mastery. What you believe about yourself becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe you are destined for success, your mind will unconsciously direct your actions to make that belief real. But if you believe you are undeserving or incapable, your mind will sabotage every effort to prove itself right. The mind loves consistency. It works tirelessly to align your behavior with your dominant beliefs. This is both the danger and the power of belief. It means that your reality will always bend to fit the story you tell yourself. When you understand this, you realize that the limits in your life are not walls, but beliefs that can be rewritten. Every limiting belief can be replaced with an empowering one. It begins with awareness. You must observe the quiet voice inside you, the one that whispers, "I can't," "I'm not enough," or "It's too late." These are not truths, they are mental habits, often inherited from the world around you. Perhaps they came from parents who doubted themselves, teachers who underestimated you, or failures that taught you fear instead of resilience. But you are not obligated to keep these beliefs. You can unlearn them. Beliefs are not carved in stone. They are patterns of thought that can be reprogrammed through repetition and emotion. The same way they were built, they can be rebuilt. When you repeat new empowering ideas with conviction, your subconscious mind accepts them as the new reality. This is the power of affirmation, visualization, and focused intention. When you say, "I am capable," or "I am worthy," you are not lying to yourself. You are planting new seeds of truth that will grow with time and nurture. The subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between imagination and experience. It believes whatever it is told with emotion and consistency. So when you feed it faith, it gives you strength. When you feed it doubt, it gives you fear. You must become the guardian of what you believe, for your beliefs create your world. Think of belief as the soil of your mind. What you plant there determines what you harvest. A mind filled with limiting beliefs will only grow limited experiences, but a mind filled with empowering beliefs will attract growth, love, success, and peace. To change your beliefs, you must also act in alignment with them. Every action you take in the direction of a new belief reinforces it. If you believe you are capable and take even small steps of courage, that belief becomes stronger. Beliefs are like muscles. The more you exercise them, the more powerful they become. At first, it may feel unnatural to believe something new. That is normal. The old beliefs will try to pull you back into comfort and doubt, but that resistance is a sign that transformation is happening. Keep going. Keep affirming the truth you wish to live. Over time, the new belief will become automatic, and life will begin to reflect it back to you. You will attract people, opportunities, and circumstances that match your new frequency. This is how life works. It is always mirroring your inner conviction. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and creators all share one thing in common. They believe in themselves, often before the world does. Their belief fuels their vision. When the world doubts, belief keeps them moving. When challenges arise, belief keeps them strong. Belief is not blind faith. It is conscious trust in your potential and the laws that govern life. You do not need evidence to believe in your power. Your belief creates the evidence. The moment you truly believe you can change, your mind begins to gather reasons why it's possible instead of why it's not. Your brain literally rewires itself to support your belief. This is not magic. It is neuroscience. Your thoughts and beliefs shape your perception, and perception shapes your actions. Once your mind sees something as achievable, your behavior aligns to make it real. The power of belief has been demonstrated throughout history. People have healed their bodies, transformed their lives, and risen from nothing simply because they believed in the possibility of something greater. Likewise, people with every advantage have failed because they believed they couldn't succeed. The external world bends to the strength or weakness of internal belief. To master your mind, you must master what you believe about yourself. Ask yourself, what do I believe about my worth, my abilities, my future? Do these beliefs lift me or limit me? If they limit you, let them go. Replace them with beliefs that reflect who you truly are, capable, creative, and complete. The truth is, you are not defined by your past or by what others have said about you. You are defined by what you choose to believe today. And the most empowering belief you can ever hold is this: you have the power to shape your reality through the thoughts you choose and the beliefs you hold. Believe in your ability to grow, to change, to rise, and life will rise to meet that belief. Your mind is a factory of creation, and belief is its blueprint. Build it wisely, nurture it daily, and never forget, you are only limited by the beliefs you refuse to challenge. Chapter 6. The power of imagination is one of the greatest gifts ever given to the human mind, for it is through imagination that every invention, creation, and transformation in history has been born. Everything you see around you, the buildings, the music, the technology, even the words you are hearing now, was once a thought, a vision, a flicker of imagination in someone's mind. Imagination is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, the spiritual and the physical, the idea and the reality. It allows you to travel beyond the limits of your current circumstances and see what could be, even when the world around you says otherwise. When you learn to use your imagination consciously, you become the architect of your destiny. The greatest mistake most people make is believing that imagination is just for children or dreamers, when in truth, it is the engine of human evolution. Every success story begins in the mind's theater long before it appears in the physical world. The power of imagination lies not in fantasy but in focused vision, the ability to see your desired reality so vividly that it becomes more real to your subconscious mind than your present situation. When your imagination and belief unite, they create the emotional blueprint that the universe cannot ignore. The subconscious mind, which governs over 90% of your behavior, does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. It simply acts on what it is repeatedly shown. This is why great achievers spend time visualizing their goals in detail. Not because it's wishful thinking, but because they understand that the mind must first experience something internally before it can express it externally. If you wish to master your mind, you must train your imagination to see beyond your fears, doubts, and limitations. You must use it not to relive your failures, but to rehearse your success. Too many people misuse imagination by creating mental pictures of disaster, fear, or worry, unknowingly programming their subconscious minds to manifest those very outcomes. Every time you imagine failure, you practice it. Every time you imagine success, you prepare for it. The mind does not judge your imagination, it simply obeys it. Therefore, guard your mental pictures with care. See yourself as capable, confident, healthy, and abundant, even if your current life does not yet reflect it. Your imagination plants the seeds that your actions will later harvest. The process begins in silence, in moments when you allow yourself to dream freely, without logic or limitation. Let your mind wander into the realm of possibility and ask yourself, what would my ideal life look like? How would it feel to live it? The emotional feeling is crucial because emotion gives power to imagination. A vision without feeling is like a seed without water. It cannot grow. Feel the joy, confidence, and gratitude of your imagined life as if it already exists. The stronger the emotion, the deeper the imprint on your subconscious mind. And once the subconscious accepts an idea, it works day and night to bring it to life. Imagination also awakens creativity, the force that allows you to find solutions where others see problems. When your mind is open and imaginative, you see patterns, connections, and opportunities invisible to the rigid thinker. Many of the greatest breakthroughs in science, art, and business came not from intellect alone, but from flashes of imagination that defied logic. Albert Einstein once said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge, because knowledge tells you what is, but imagination shows you what can be." To live without imagination is to live within the walls of your past. To live with imagination is to walk into the open fields of possibility. Every time you visualize, you are training your mind to align with your future self. This practice creates a mental path that your behavior naturally follows. You begin to think, speak, and act in harmony with the image you hold within. If you see yourself as successful, your mind searches for actions that support that vision. If you see yourself as a failure, it finds excuses to confirm that image. The law of mind is simple: you become what you consistently imagine yourself to be. Therefore, make imagination your ally, not your enemy. Spend time each day imagining your goals as already achieved. Picture yourself waking up in your ideal reality. How do you feel? What do you see? Who surrounds you? What have you accomplished? Write it, see it, feel it, then act as though it is unfolding now. This practice aligns your vibration with your desired future, and soon, opportunities will begin to appear that match your vision. The universe responds to the clarity and consistency of your inner images. When your imagination, belief, and action are aligned, the world must bend to your vision. Remember, your imagination is sacred. Do not waste it on fear, regret, or resentment. Use it to heal, to grow, to create, to evolve. The future belongs to those who can see it before it arrives. Imagination is the rehearsal of creation. Every great life is built twice, first in the mind, then in reality. The key is to believe in your inner images as if they were already true, for that belief transforms imagination into intention, and intention into manifestation. When you imagine with faith, you are not escaping reality, you are commanding it. You are stepping into your creative power, the same power that shapes the stars and moves the tides. You hold within you the divine ability to picture and produce the life you desire. So, dare to dream vividly, boldly, and without apology. The mind you master through imagination becomes the world you live in. Your imagination is your preview of life's coming attractions, the place where you sculpt your destiny and prove that, indeed, you become what you think. Chapter 7. Your thoughts are the seeds of your emotions, and your emotions are the fuel that drives your actions, shaping the quality of your entire life. Emotions are not random bursts of feeling, they are the energetic reflections of what you think, believe, and focus on. The mind thinks, the heart feels, and together they create the vibration that attracts the experiences you live. When you feel joy, gratitude, love, and confidence, you are in harmony with your higher self, aligned with the energy of growth and abundance. But when you dwell in fear, anger, doubt, or resentment, your energy contracts, your vision narrows, and life seems to mirror that inner turbulence back to you. Mastering your mind, therefore, means mastering your emotional state, not by suppressing feelings, but by understanding their origin and using them as a compass to guide your growth. Every emotion carries a message. Fear signals a lack of trust in your ability to handle the future. Anger reveals resistance to what is. Sadness speaks of something lost or unloved. Joy tells you that you are aligned with your truth. The problem is not the emotion itself, it is the unconscious attachment to it. Most people allow emotions to control their behavior instead of using them as tools for awareness. They become victims of mood and reaction, thinking emotions are something that happen to them, when in reality, emotions are something they generate through focus and interpretation. You can shift any emotional state by changing what you focus on and how you interpret your experiences. For example, when faced with a challenge, if you focus on fear and doubt, you will feel weak and anxious. But if you focus on opportunity and growth, you will feel courage and determination. The external situation may be the same, but the internal meaning changes everything. This is the essence of emotional mastery, realizing that you are the creator of meaning and therefore the creator of emotion. Your emotional world is a reflection of your mental world. Every day, you have the power to choose which emotions you cultivate. Gratitude can dissolve anxiety, compassion can soften anger, faith can transform fear. You are never at the mercy of your feelings, you are the master of them. The first step toward mastering emotions is awareness. To notice how you feel without judgment. When you feel strong emotion, pause and ask, what thought created this? That simple question returns your power. Instead of drowning in the emotion, you observe it, learn from it, and consciously choose a better thought. Emotional intelligence is not about avoiding pain, it's about transmuting it. Pain can become wisdom, fear can become focus, anger can become passion, and sadness can become empathy. Every emotion has a higher purpose if you're willing to look within. When you understand the language of emotion, you stop resisting life. You realize that emotions are energy in motion, meant to move through you, not define you. Holding on to negative emotions is like holding your breath. It suffocates your spirit. Release them by expressing forgiving. Forgiveness, especially, is one of the highest forms of emotional mastery. It is not about excusing others, it is about freeing yourself from the poison of resentment. When you forgive, you reclaim your energy. When you let go of bitterness, you make space for peace. True strength is not the absence of emotion, but the ability to feel deeply without being enslaved by feeling. The most powerful people are those who can stay centered in love and clarity, even when surrounded by chaos. This calmness is not indifference. It is mastery. It comes from knowing that no emotion can control you unless you feed it with attention. Whatever emotion you nourish will grow stronger. Focus on fear and fear expands. Focus on love and love blossoms. The law is simple but profound. Energy flows where attention goes. That is why gratitude is the master emotion. It raises your vibration instantly and shifts your focus toward abundance. The more you practice gratitude, the more reasons you find to be grateful. The more you focus on joy, the more joy you attract. Your emotions act like magnets, drawing experiences that match their frequency. A person who lives in constant fear will attract situations that confirm that fear. A person who radiates love and peace will naturally draw harmony and opportunity. This is not mystical, it is psychological and energetic truth. The state of your emotions determines the quality of your thoughts, and your thoughts shape your world. To create a life of fulfillment, you must learn emotional alignment to keep your feelings consistent with your desired reality. You cannot manifest peace from chaos, success from self-doubt, or love from resentment. You must first feel what you wish to create. Feel success now, and success will move toward you. Feel peace now, and life will organize itself around that peace. This is how energy works. The outer world is a mirror of your inner vibration. When you raise your emotional state, everything around you begins to reflect that elevation. But remember, emotional mastery does not mean perfection. It means presence, the ability to recognize when you have fallen into negativity and to choose again. It is a daily practice, a gentle returning to your center, Some days you will feel strong, other days you will struggle. That is okay. Growth is not about never falling, it's about rising faster each time. You become emotionally powerful not by controlling life, but by controlling your inner response to life. Your emotions are your guidance system, showing you how closely you are aligned with your higher self. When you feel good, you are in tune. When you feel bad, you are out of alignment. Your task is not to resist emotions, but to use them as signposts to return to your truth. The ultimate goal is emotional freedom, to live with an open heart, unshaken by fear and guided by love. When your emotions serve your vision instead of sabotaging it, your mind becomes clear, your energy becomes radiant, and your life begins to flow with effortless power. This is the art of mastering your emotions, the art of mastering yourself. Chapter 8, The Power of Focus is the secret key to mastering your mind and transforming your life. For where your focus goes, your energy flows, and where your energy flows, your reality grows. Focus is not just attention, it is the deliberate direction of your mental energy toward a chosen purpose, a chosen vision, a chosen truth. Most people never achieve mastery because their focus is scattered. Their minds drift from one thought to another, pulled by distractions, worries, and desires. They allow the outer world to dictate their inner world, chasing whatever demands attention instead of choosing what deserves it. But the masters of life understand that focus is creation. Whatever you focus on expands in your mind until it becomes your experience. If you constantly focus on problems, you magnify them. If you focus on solutions, they begin to appear. If you focus on lack, you feel empty. If you focus on abundance, you attract more of it. Focus is the steering wheel of the mind. It determines the direction your life will take. The difference between success and failure, peace and chaos, confidence and confusion, often lies in what a person consistently focuses on. You cannot think of success while dwelling on fear. You cannot feel happiness while focusing on pain. The mind cannot hold two dominant thoughts at once. Whichever one you feed more energy to becomes your reality. The art of focus begins with awareness. To notice what occupies your mind throughout the day. Do your thoughts serve your growth, or do they drain your energy? Every time you catch your mind wandering into negativity or distraction, gently bring it back to your purpose. The more often you do this, the stronger your focus becomes. It is like training a muscle. Consistency creates power. Many people underestimate the power of sustained attention. They believe that talent, luck, or opportunity create success, when in truth, success is the result of sustained focus applied toward a meaningful goal. When your mind is focused, your energy becomes laser, sharp, cutting through confusion and fear. You move with clarity and conviction, and the world begins to respond. Every great invention, every masterpiece, every business empire was built through the power of concentrated focus over time. The human mind is capable of extraordinary things, but only when it is disciplined to remain centered on one vision long enough for it to materialize. The challenge of modern life is that everything is designed to fracture focus. Notifications, entertainment, opinions, and endless distractions compete for your attention every moment. This constant mental noise weakens your ability to think deeply, to create, and to connect with your higher purpose. To reclaim your focus, you must learn to say no. No to distractions, no to meaningless consumption, no to anything that does not align with your goals. Every no to distraction is a yes to clarity. Protect your attention as you would protect your most valuable resource, because it is. The mind becomes what it repeatedly focuses on. If you feed it confusion, it will become restless. If you feed it stillness, it will become calm. Focus also has a spiritual dimension. When your attention is divided, your energy is divided. But when your attention is united, when all your thoughts, emotions, and actions align toward one purpose, you enter a state of flow where effort feels effortless and creation feels natural. In this state, time seems to slow down and everything you do carries greater impact. This is not luck, it is the reward of disciplined focus. The universe responds to the clarity of your intention. When you know what you want and give it your undivided focus, you send a powerful signal that draws corresponding energy into your life. This is why doubt and distraction weaken manifestation. They blur the signal. To attract what you desire, you must hold the image of it with unwavering focus, not occasionally, but consistently. Even when your current reality doesn't match your vision, stay focused on the end result. The mind will try to pull you toward fear and impatience, but remind yourself that what you focus on is already forming in the unseen. Patience is sustained focus in action. The more you practice focusing on what you want instead of what you fear, the faster your life transforms. Focus is also deeply connected to gratitude. When you focus on what you already have, your energy vibrates at the frequency of abundance, and you attract more blessings. When you focus on what's missing, you emit scarcity and repel opportunities. The external world mirrors your internal focus. If you desire peace, focus on peaceful thoughts. If you desire success, focus on actions that create progress. If you desire love, focus on giving love. Life always amplifies what you dwell upon. To strengthen your focus, cultivate mindfulness. Practice being fully present in whatever you do, eating, walking, listening, or working. The more you train your mind to stay here in this moment, the less it will drift into worry or regret. True focus lives in the now, not in the past or future. When your mind is present, it becomes powerful. The moment you lose focus, you lose direction. The moment you regain it, everything realigns. Focus also builds emotional stability. When your mind is anchored in purpose, external chaos cannot easily shake you. You remain calm because your inner compass is steady. The storms of life may swirl around you, but you stay centered, knowing where your attention belongs. This is mental freedom, to choose where to place your energy regardless of circumstance. In the end, your focus defines your life. The people who rise above mediocrity are not those who have more time, talent, or resources, but those who focus their energy with intention and persistence. The mind is a garden, and focus is the sunlight that helps your seeds grow. Whatever you shine that light upon will flourish. So guard your focus fiercely. Direct it toward growth, creation, and truth. When you master your focus, you master your destiny, for the mind follows vision, and vision follows focus. The secret to success, peace, and mastery is simple: focus deeply, consistently, and purposefully, and watch your world transform. Sechair 9. The power of self-discipline is the bridge between thought and accomplishment, the silent force that turns dreams into reality and potential into achievement. Without discipline, even the strongest intention dissolves into wishful thinking, but with it, the impossible becomes attainable. Discipline is not punishment, it is self-respect in action, the ability to commit to what matters most, even when motivation fades. It is the mastery of your impulses, the art of choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term comfort. Every great mind, every successful leader, every fulfilled soul has built their life upon the foundation of discipline. It is the invisible thread that connects desire to destiny. While others are distracted by ease and comfort, the disciplined person moves forward quietly, steadily, persistently, transforming effort into excellence. Discipline is what allows you to rise early when your mind wants to sleep, to practice when others procrastinate, to stay focused when the world screams for distraction. It is not about being perfect, it is about being consistent. Every time you act with discipline, you strengthen your willpower, and your willpower becomes your greatest ally. The truth is that you will never feel like doing the hard things all the time, and that is exactly why discipline matters. Motivation is a spark, discipline is the flame that keeps burning long after the spark fades. When you build discipline, you no longer rely on emotion to take action. You move because it aligns with your values, because it honors your purpose. You learn to do what needs to be done, not what feels easy in the moment. That is the mark of mastery, the ability to command yourself. The undisciplined mind is like an untamed horse, powerful but directionless, constantly pulled by temptation, fear, and habit. But the disciplined mind is like a trained steed, graceful, focused, and unstoppable once in motion. Every act of discipline is a declaration of self-control, a statement that you are greater than your moods, stronger than your distractions, and wiser than your impulses. Discipline is the ultimate freedom, because it frees you from the tyranny of laziness, fear, and regret. When you live without discipline, you live as a slave to comfort, constantly reacting to circumstances instead of creating them. But when you live with discipline, you become the architect of your life, shaping each day with intention and integrity. The power of discipline also lies in repetition, the small, consistent actions that accumulate over time into massive results. Success is rarely the product of one great act, but rather of thousands of small, disciplined choices made daily. Every morning you wake early to work on your goal. Every time you choose focus over distraction. Every time you say no to what doesn't serve your growth. You are building the invisible architecture of greatness. Discipline compounds like interest. The more you practice it, the stronger it grows, until eventually, what once felt difficult becomes effortless. The same way a muscle strengthens through resistance, your willpower strengthens through challenge. The moments when you want to give up are not signs of weakness. They are opportunities to build endurance. Each time you push beyond your comfort zone, you expand it. Discipline also gives clarity to your mind. When you are disciplined, you waste no energy on indecision or regret. You know your priorities and you act on them. This creates a calm, focused state where creativity and confidence thrive. The disciplined mind is not rigid, it is deliberate. It adapts when necessary, but never compromises on purpose. In a world addicted to instant gratification, discipline is rebellion. It is saying, I will not be ruled by the temporary. It is choosing purpose over pleasure, progress over procrastination, mastery over mediocrity. Those who cultivate discipline build lives of depth and meaning, while those who avoid it live at the mercy of their moods. The difference is visible in every aspect of life, in health, work, relationships, and peace of mind. Discipline brings stability to chaos and structure to dreams. It transforms ordinary days into extraordinary growth. To develop discipline, start small but stay consistent. Make promises to yourself and keep them. Each time you follow through, your confidence grows. Your mind learns that your word is law. When you fail, do not punish yourself, recommit. Discipline is not about perfection but persistence. You do not need to move fast, you just need to keep moving. Over time, the discipline that once felt like effort becomes identity. It becomes who you are. You stop saying, I need motivation, and start saying, this is what I do. That shift is the moment you step into mastery. Remember also that discipline is deeply connected to self-love. It is not self-denial but self-care at the highest level. It is choosing what truly serves your future self over what temporarily soothes your present self. Every disciplined choice says, I believe in my potential enough to act for it. And in that belief, miracles begin to unfold. Discipline aligns your thoughts, emotions, and actions into harmony, creating momentum that nothing can stop. It transforms you from a dreamer into a doer, from a thinker into a creator. The disciplined person does not need luck, because discipline itself creates opportunity. Life bends in favor of those who persist. When you build discipline, you build power. Not the power to control others, but the power to control yourself. And that is the greatest strength of all. The disciplined mind walks calmly toward its vision, while others are lost in distraction, and in time, it arrives exactly where it intended to be. So embrace discipline not as a burden, but as a blessing. It is the invisible path that leads to visible greatness, the silent force that turns I wish into I did. Remember this truth always. Your dreams are not waiting for the right moment. They are waiting for your discipline. Shakespeare 10 success is not determined by luck, talent, or chance. It is born from persistence, the unwavering commitment to keep moving forward no matter how difficult the path becomes. Persistence is the heartbeat of achievement, the force that transforms effort into excellence and vision into victory. It is the quality that separates those who dream from those who do, the inner strength that whispers, "Keep going," when the world says, "Give up." Many people begin with excitement and ambition, but only the persistent continue when the excitement fades and the struggle begins. The truth is, every great accomplishment in history is the result of someone who refused to quit when failure knocked at the door. Persistence is not about never facing defeat. It is about never accepting it as final. Every setback becomes a lesson, every failure a stepping stone, every obstacle a teacher in disguise. When you are persistent, you understand that the journey to success is not a straight line, but a winding path filled with challenges meant to strengthen you. The road will test your patience, your faith, and your will, but it will also reveal your true potential. Persistence is fueled by purpose. When you know why you are fighting, you will find the strength to continue. It is the deep-rooted belief that your efforts matter, that your vision is worth the struggle. Even when progress feels invisible, persistence reminds you that growth is happening beneath the surface. Like a seed buried in the soil, your work may not show immediate results, but with time it will bloom. Persistence also requires resilience, the ability to rise after every fall. The persistent individual is not afraid of failure because they see it as feedback, not as defeat. They understand that each failure brings them one step closer to success. They do not seek the easy path, they seek the right one, knowing that true achievement is never effortless. Persistence is often lonely. There will be times when no one believes in your vision, when support disappears, and when the world doubts your strength. But those moments are the true test. They separate the committed from the curious. If you can stand firm when no one claps, when no one sees your effort, and when no one believes in your dream but you, then success is already on its way. Persistence is the quiet determination that builds greatness in silence and reveals it in time. It is not about speed, it is about endurance. You do not have to move fast, you only have to keep moving. Each small step forward, taken consistently, carries you further than a burst of energy followed by surrender. Persistence teaches patience, humility, and faith. It reminds you that great things take time and that consistency is more powerful than intensity. The most successful people in the world were not always the smartest or the most gifted. They were the most persistent. They faced rejection, failure, and criticism, yet they continued to work, refine, and improve. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before creating the light bulb, but he said, "I have not failed, I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." That mindset defines persistence. The refusal to see setbacks as defeat. The persistent mind does not crumble under pressure. It adapts, adjusts, and advances. It finds another way when the first way fails. Persistence is a daily choice, a decision to show up, to give your best, even when the results are uncertain. It is not glamorous, but it is powerful. The world may reward talent, but it always respects persistence. Over time, effort compounds, and what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Every time you persist, you strengthen your spirit and build the inner muscle of determination. You become unstoppable because you no longer rely on circumstances. You rely on character. Persistence is also about discipline and faith working together. Discipline gives you structure, faith gives you hope. Together, they form the foundation that carries you through storms. There will be days when doubt will whisper that your efforts are useless, but persistence is the answer to that doubt. It says, "I will keep going anyway." The persistent heart knows that time rewards those who do not quit. Each act of perseverance sends a message to the universe that you are serious about your dreams. Eventually, the doors that were once closed will begin to open, not because luck changed, but because you refused to stop knocking. Persistence is the essence of growth, for nothing in nature blooms overnight. Mountains are moved by steady erosion, and masterpieces are painted stroke by stroke. So too your success will be built moment by moment, decision by decision. Persistence turns potential into power. It makes ordinary people achieve extraordinary things. To live persistently is to live with courage, faith, and patience. The courage to begin, the faith to continue, and the patience to see it through. When you understand this, giving up ceases to be an option. You realize that every step, no matter how small, is progress. So, when the journey feels long and the results slow, remember persistence is not about perfection, it is about endurance. It is about standing tall in the face of adversity and saying, "I will not stop until I get there." Success does not belong to those who never fail, but to those who never quit. Persistence is not just the path to victory, it is the victory itself. Kai Aptar 11. Your environment shapes your mind more than you realize. It molds your thoughts, influences your emotions, and determines the limits or expansiveness of your vision. The people you spend time with, the places you go, and the things you expose your mind to are constantly sculpting who you become. You are not only a product of your choices, but also of your surroundings, for what surrounds you silently teaches you how to think, feel, and act. If your environment is negative, filled with doubt, fear, and limitation, it will drain your energy and cloud your potential. But if it is positive, uplifting, and filled with growth-minded people, it will nourish your confidence and expand your possibilities. This is why protecting your environment is not an act of isolation but of self-respect. You cannot plant a seed in poisoned soil and expect it to grow. Likewise, you cannot nurture a powerful mind in a toxic environment. Every great transformation begins when you become aware of the spaces and influences that either strengthen or weaken your spirit. The conversations you entertain, the content you consume, and the people you associate with are either adding to your growth or subtracting from it. The truth is simple yet profound. Your mind adapts to its surroundings. When you are around people who complain, you begin to complain. When you are around those who dream big, you begin to dream bigger. Energy is contagious, whether it's positive or negative, and your success depends on which type you allow to dominate your life. Many people underestimate the quiet power of influence. They assume they are immune to their surroundings, but no one truly is. The mind is like water. It takes the shape of whatever container it is poured into. If you wish to grow, pour it into environments that challenge you, inspire you, and hold you accountable to your highest self. Your environment should remind you of your goals, not your fears. It should spark ambition, not anxiety. If you often find yourself discouraged, distracted, or drained, it may not be your lack of discipline, but the energy of the space you're in. To master your mind, you must master where it lives. This means choosing carefully who you allow to speak into your life. Every word you hear has power. It plants a seed, and seeds grow. Surround yourself with people who believe in possibilities, who push you to improve, who see potential even when you don't. Avoid those who constantly highlight limitations, for they will slowly dim your light until you begin to doubt your own brilliance. Remember, you cannot climb if you are always surrounded by those who wish to stay on the ground. Growth demands that you rise, and sometimes that means leaving behind environments that no longer serve your evolution. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. As you rise, you will naturally outgrow certain circles and habits. The television shows you used to enjoy, the conversations that once felt entertaining, or the habits that once comforted you may no longer fit the person you're becoming. That is the sign of progress. Do not fear this change, embrace it. The butterfly cannot remain in the cocoon and still learn to fly. Changing your environment does not always mean moving to a new city. Sometimes it simply means shifting your mental space, reading empowering books, listening to uplifting voices, or creating order where there was chaos. A clean space invites clarity, while a cluttered one creates confusion. The outer environment mirrors the inner state of your mind. If you want peace within, create peace around you. Let your home, your workspace, and even your digital spaces reflect calm, focus, and inspiration. Declutter your surroundings and you will declutter your thoughts. The same applies to the digital world. Be mindful of what you consume online, For what you watch, read, and scroll through becomes the diet of your mind. Feed it wisdom, not noise. Inspire it, don't numb it. Guard your attention as you would guard your most valuable treasure, because it is. The people who thrive in life are not those who are merely talented, they are those who intentionally design environments that support their growth. They surround themselves with excellence until excellence becomes their standard. They choose to be in rooms that challenge them rather than comfort them. They seek mentors, not mirrors. If you always remain in spaces where you are the most knowledgeable, you stop learning. But when you place yourself among those who are ahead of you, their energy pulls you forward. You rise to the level of your surroundings. Therefore, create a circle that speaks your future language, not your past vocabulary. Build an environment that reflects who you want to become, not who you were. Every day, ask yourself, is my environment helping me grow or keeping me stuck? If the answer is the latter, change it. Not tomorrow, but today. Your future depends on the atmosphere you create now. The air you breathe, the words you hear, the sights you see, all of it programs your subconscious mind. Make sure that programming aligns with your purpose. When your environment matches your vision, your progress accelerates. You no longer have to fight against resistance. Instead, your surroundings propel you towards success. Mastering your mind means mastering your atmosphere, for the mind flourishes in spaces of light order. So choose wisely what you allow around you, for it will soon live within you. And as your environment elevates, so will your life, because your mind, your thoughts, and your destiny all grow best in places that nurture greatness. CHTR 12 Gratitude is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It transforms your perception, reshapes your energy, and magnetizes abundance into your life. The practice of gratitude is not merely saying, thank you, but feeling it deeply, allowing appreciation to flood your mind and soul until it changes the way you see everything. Most people chase happiness as if it's something to be found in the future, but gratitude teaches you that happiness is available right now, in this moment. When you are truly grateful, your focus shifts from what is missing to what is present, from lack to abundance, from frustration to peace. Gratitude does not ignore difficulty, it transforms it. It allows you to see lessons within challenges, strength within pain, and beauty within chaos. Life is never perfect, but gratitude reminds you that it is always a gift. Each breath you take, each sunrise you witness, each opportunity to try again. These are miracles that often go unnoticed in the rush of everyday life. Gratitude brings awareness back to the small blessings, and it is through this awareness that your life begins to overflow with joy. The human mind naturally tends to dwell on what it doesn't have, comparing, competing, and craving, which leads to stress and discontent. But when you practice gratitude, you reprogram your mind to see the fullness of life. You begin to realize that wealth is not only measured in money, but in peace, love, health, and meaningful connections. The grateful heart is always rich, even in the absence of material abundance, because it finds value in everything. Gratitude changes your vibration. It attracts positivity because it aligns you with appreciation rather than complaint. When you express thanks for what you have, you send a signal to the universe that you are open to receiving more. It's a law of energy. What you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, you multiply them. If you focus on blessings, you amplify them. Gratitude, therefore, is the foundation of manifestation. It is impossible to create a better future while despising the present. The mind cannot grow in bitterness, but it flourishes in appreciation. Even in moments of darkness, gratitude is the light that guides you forward. When you choose to be thankful in adversity, you reclaim your power. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become a master of meaning. Gratitude doesn't change what happens, it changes how you respond, and that shift of response changes everything. The most resilient people are not those who never face pain, but those who remain grateful in the midst of it. They see pain as a teacher, not a punishment. They understand that gratitude is not dependent on comfort. It is a decision of strength. When you begin each day with gratitude, you set the tone for the day ahead. You anchor your mind in positivity before the noise of the world can distract you. Each morning, take a moment to acknowledge 3 things you're thankful for. They can be as simple as your breath, your health, or the chance to begin again. This simple habit rewires your brain for joy and peace. Gratitude is not only inward, it's also outward. Expressing gratitude to others strengthens relationships and spreads light. A kind word of appreciation can uplift a weary heart, heal a wound, or inspire hope. Gratitude connects hearts because it recognizes value in others. It says, "I see you, I appreciate you, you matter." The world is hungry for this kind of acknowledgement, and when you offer it sincerely, it comes back multiplied. Gratitude also deepens your spiritual connection. It is the language of the soul, the highest form of prayer. When you say thank you, with a full heart, you align with divine abundance. You stop pleading for what you lack and begin celebrating what you have been given. In that vibration of thanks, your life naturally attracts more blessings. Gratitude makes space for miracles because it removes resistance and invites flow. You cannot hold on to resentment and gratitude at the same time. One must give way to the other. When you choose gratitude, anger fades, fear softens, and peace expands. It's the ultimate act of surrender, accepting life as it is while believing in its goodness. Every challenge becomes a stepping stone when viewed through the lens of gratitude. Even failure, often feared and hated, becomes valuable because it teaches you humility, resilience, and wisdom. Gratitude turns suffering into strength and confusion into clarity. It is the alchemy of the heart, transforming ordinary moments into sacred ones. The more you practice gratitude, the more it becomes your natural state of being. It no longer requires effort, it becomes who you are. You start to see blessings in every person, lesson in every setback, and opportunity in every obstacle. Life, which once seemed burdensome, becomes a series of gifts waiting to be unwrapped. Gratitude also guards your mind from negativity. When you fill your heart with appreciation, there is no room left for envy, jealousy, or bitterness. You stop comparing your journey to others and start embracing your own. You understand that everyone walks their own path, and you find peace in knowing that what's meant for you will find you. Gratitude frees you from the prison of not enough and opens the door to more than enough. It teaches you that happiness is not about having everything, but about loving everything you have. As you live in this state, you begin to radiate a quiet, unshakable contentment. You become magnetic. People feel your energy, your peace, your joy. Gratitude doesn't just change your thoughts, it transforms your entire presence. It turns every ordinary day into a celebration of life itself. So, let gratitude not just be a feeling you visit, but a home you live in. For when gratitude becomes your way of being, you don't need to chase happiness, you become it. Shia TR 13 Forgiveness is the ultimate act of liberation, the release that frees your mind from the chains of resentment, anger, and pain. To forgive is not to excuse the wrong that was done, but to reclaim your peace from the grip of the past. Many people carry emotional wounds for years, holding tightly to memories of betrayal, injustice, or disappointment, believing that holding on to them somehow protects them. But in truth, unforgiveness is a silent poison. It harms you far more than it harms the one who wronged you. When you hold on to bitterness, you allow the past to live rent-free in your mind, shaping your present emotions and limiting your future potential. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is an act of strength, not weakness. It is the conscious decision to let go of what no longer serves you and to make room for healing, growth, and inner freedom. It is not about forgetting, but about choosing peace over pain. When you forgive, you do not erase the past, you transform it. You reclaim your power from the emotions that once controlled you. The truth is that forgiveness is not for others, it is for you. It's the key that unlocks the prison you built around your own heart. Many people think that by forgiving, They are allowing others to escape accountability. But forgiveness doesn't mean there are no consequences. It means you no longer allow those consequences to control your emotional state. You free yourself from being defined by what happened. Forgiveness requires deep courage because it asks you to confront your wounds and to love yourself enough to let them heal. It demands that you choose to rise above what was done to you, to not let someone else's actions dictate your peace. Anger and resentment may feel powerful at first, but they drain you over time. They replay painful memories and keep your focus trapped in the past. Every time you relive that hurt, you re-injure your spirit. Forgiveness breaks that cycle. It allows you to breathe again, to release the weight that has been pressing on your heart. When you forgive, you reclaim your energy that can now be directed toward building your dreams instead of maintaining your pain. Forgiveness is also a reflection of understanding. When you look deeply enough, you realize that people hurt others out of their own pain, ignorance, or brokenness. This doesn't make their actions right, but it helps you understand that their behavior was a reflection of their own inner turmoil, not of your worth. Holding on to hate keeps you connected to their negativity, while forgiveness severs that connection and restores your power. You rise above the cycle of suffering and choose peace. This does not mean you must reconcile or allow toxic people back into your life. Forgiveness is not the same as reunion. You can forgive and still maintain boundaries. In fact, true forgiveness often strengthens your boundaries because it comes with wisdom. You learn to protect your peace while keeping your heart open. Forgiveness is an internal process, one that begins with self-awareness and compassion. You must first forgive yourself for the times you stayed too long, trusted too easily, or reacted in anger. You are human, and your mistakes do not define you. Self-forgiveness is essential because you cannot offer to others what you deny yourself. When you forgive yourself, you release guilt and shame, and this opens your heart to healing. The energy of forgiveness is transformative. It shifts your vibration from pain to peace, from resistance to acceptance. It is the cleansing rain that washes away emotional toxins, leaving clarity in its place. Forgiveness is also a form of wisdom. It teaches you that peace is more valuable than pride. The ego wants revenge, but the soul desires freedom. Every time you choose forgiveness, you choose evolution over stagnation. You grow into a higher version of yourself, one that no longer needs to win battles that don't matter. Forgiveness is not a one-time act, it is a process, sometimes slow, sometimes painful, but always liberating. There will be days when old wounds resurface, when anger whispers again, but each time you choose to release instead of react, you strengthen your inner peace. The process of forgiving reshapes your character. It teaches patience, compassion, and humility. It reminds you that everyone is fighting unseen battles, and that grace is more powerful than judgment. When you live in forgiveness, you radiate calmness and love, qualities that heal not only you but also those around you. Your presence becomes peaceful, your words more thoughtful, and your heart lighter. Forgiveness is the foundation of emotional freedom. Without it, true happiness cannot exist. You cannot move forward while looking backward. The weight of resentment keeps your soul anchored to yesterday. But when you forgive, you step fully into the present where your power resides. You reclaim your ability to choose joy, to create, to grow. The act of forgiving also deepens your connection with life itself. It reminds you that everything happens for a reason, even pain. Every hurt becomes a teacher, guiding you toward deeper wisdom and empathy. Forgiveness, therefore, is not just a moral virtue, it is a spiritual awakening. It transforms suffering into understanding and darkness into light. When you truly forgive, you do not lose anything, you gain everything. You gain peace, clarity, and freedom. You stop allowing your past to dictate your emotions, and you begin to live fully again. You start to see that every moment, even the painful ones, was preparing you for something greater. Forgiveness is the ultimate form of self-love, a declaration that you deserve peace more than you deserve revenge. It is the final step in mastering your mind, because a mind that forgives is a mind that is truly free. So, let go of the weight you've carried, release the anger, and open your heart to healing. For the one who forgives does not weaken, they rise. They reclaim their power and walk forward lighter, wiser and stronger, ready to create a future untouched by the pain of the past. See Chapter 14. Discipline is the bridge between intention and accomplishment, the silent force that turns dreams into reality and separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. It is not about motivation, because motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes with emotion. But discipline is enduring, steady, and unshakable. Discipline is the promise you make to yourself and the strength to keep that promise even when no one is watching. It is doing what needs to be done, not what feels easy or comfortable. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has walked the lonely path of discipline, rising before the sun, working while others rest, and pushing forward despite fatigue or doubt. Discipline is not punishment, it is freedom, the freedom to direct your life rather than be controlled by impulses or excuses. Without discipline, talent wastes away, dreams remain ideas, and potential fades into regret. The disciplined mind understands that progress requires consistency, and that mastery is built not in a day, but through countless moments of dedication. Discipline teaches you patience, because it shows that success is not instant. It is earned through persistence and focus. It demands that you sacrifice temporary comfort for long-term growth. In a world that glorifies shortcuts and quick results, discipline is the quiet rebellion, the commitment to the slow, steady process that creates lasting transformation. It is the willingness to show up on the days when motivation disappears, to push forward when no one believes in you, and to keep building even when the results seem invisible. Discipline is also about self-control, the ability to govern your thoughts, emotions, and actions. It is not about perfection but progress, not about harshness but consistency. When you are disciplined, you take responsibility for your choices. You stop blaming circumstances and start creating change. You understand that your future is not shaped by what you occasionally do, but by what you consistently do. Every act of discipline is a declaration of your commitment to your vision. When you choose to wake up early, to practice your craft, to eat healthily, or to study instead of procrastinating, you are telling the universe, I am serious about my goals. Discipline transforms your self-image, because every time you follow through on your promises, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. This builds confidence, not the false confidence of external praise, but the deep, unshakable belief that you are capable. The more you honor your word to yourself, the stronger your character becomes. Discipline also strengthens your mind against distraction. In a world filled with noise, temptations, and endless entertainment, the disciplined individual stands apart because they have mastered focus. They can delay gratification, a rare and powerful skill. While most people chase pleasure, the disciplined person chases purpose. They understand that true satisfaction comes not from indulgence, but from progress. Discipline gives structure to your ambition, turning wild dreams into achievable plans. It teaches you to break down massive goals into small, manageable steps and to attack them daily with precision. Over time, these small actions compound into extraordinary results. Discipline is the root of all habits that lead to success. Without it, even the best strategies fail. But with it, even average effort becomes powerful. Discipline is not about being strict or emotionless. It is about being committed to a higher standard. It is about mastering your emotions instead of being mastered by them. When you feel tired, discipline reminds you of your why. When you feel lazy, discipline whispers the truth that success demands effort. When fear tries to paralyze you, discipline gives you courage through action. Discipline is the armor that protects your dreams from the attacks of doubt and delay. It keeps you grounded in purpose when distractions try to steal your focus. The beauty of discipline is that it grows stronger with use. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes. It is like a muscle that must be exercised daily. The first steps are always the hardest, but once the rhythm is built, it carries you forward with momentum. Discipline brings order to chaos. It gives your days direction and your mind clarity. You stop drifting aimlessly and start living intentionally. Every day becomes a step toward your vision rather than a reaction to your emotions. Discipline is the foundation of every great achievement, from art to science, business to spirituality. It is the invisible force behind every success story, the quiet engine that keeps driving when everything else has stopped. Those who rely on motivation quit when they are tired, but those who live by discipline continue because they have decided that quitting is not an option. Discipline also demands balance, knowing when to rest, when to push, and when to reflect. It is not about exhausting yourself, but about training your mind to act with purpose. It creates harmony between effort and recovery, between ambition and self-care. When discipline becomes a way of life, it frees you from chaos. You no longer waste time debating whether to act, you simply act. You no longer negotiate with laziness or fear because you have made a non-negotiable decision to grow. Discipline leads to mastery, and mastery leads to freedom, the freedom to live on your own terms. It is the foundation of confidence, success, and inner peace. Every great warrior, thinker, or leader has understood that discipline is not a burden, but a gift. It gives meaning to effort and turns ordinary moments into steps toward greatness. So, embrace discipline not as restriction, but as empowerment. Let it guide your days, shape your habits, and refine your spirit. For in the end, it is not talent or luck that defines destiny. It is discipline, the unwavering force that turns the impossible into inevitable. Chapter 15. Gratitude is the art of finding light even in the darkest corners of life. The practice of seeing abundance instead of lack, and the realization that happiness is not something you chase but something you cultivate from within. It is a mindset that transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary blessings and teaches you to appreciate not just the grand victories but also the small, quiet miracles that surround you every day. Gratitude is not about ignoring pain or pretending that everything is perfect. It is about choosing to see the lesson, the strength, and the opportunity hidden within every experience. It is about acknowledging that even struggle has value, that even loss can bring wisdom, and that even challenges are stepping stones toward growth. When you live with gratitude, your heart opens to peace, and your mind learns to focus on what truly matters. You stop comparing your journey to others and start celebrating your own progress. Gratitude turns into "I get to," shifting every task from obligation to privilege. It reminds you that life itself is a gift. Every breath, every sunrise, every chance to start again. Gratitude is a powerful energy that attracts more of what you appreciate. When you focus on blessings, they multiply. It changes the frequency of your thoughts from scarcity to abundance, from fear to faith. You begin to notice beauty where others see nothing, hope where others see despair, and strength where others see struggle. Gratitude humbles you because it reminds you that you are not alone in your journey, that every success you've achieved has been supported by countless unseen hands, whether it be the love of family, the guidance of mentors, or the kindness of strangers. It grounds you in humility and reminds you to give back, to share the same generosity that once lifted you. Gratitude teaches presence. It anchors you in the now, helping you escape the trap of someday happiness. Too often, people postpone joy, telling themselves they'll be happy when they earn more, achieve more, or have more. But gratitude reveals that happiness doesn't wait for perfection, it blossoms in the imperfections of today. When you wake up and give thanks for the roof over your head, the meal on your table, and the people who care for you, you begin to experience a deeper kind of joy, one that is independent of circumstance. Gratitude also softens the heart, replacing bitterness with understanding and anger with compassion. It allows forgiveness to flow more easily because you realize that holding on to resentment only poisons your peace. Gratitude frees you from the grip of negativity by reminding you that even on your worst days, there is still something to be thankful for. A lesson learned, a moment of courage, or simply the chance to begin again. It shifts your attention from what is missing to what is present, from what went wrong to what can go right. Gratitude doesn't require grand gestures. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, "Thank you," keeping a journal, or silently appreciating a sunset. The practice of gratitude rewires the brain. It literally changes your neural pathways to focus on positivity, resilience, and hope. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Gratitude is a mirror reflecting back the goodness of life, reminding you that there is always something right, even when everything seems wrong. It strengthens relationships because when you express genuine appreciation, you make others feel seen and valued. A simple thank you can heal wounds, deepen trust, and inspire kindness. Gratitude builds community because it connects hearts through mutual appreciation rather than competition or envy. It dissolves ego and reminds you that we rise by lifting others. In difficult times, gratitude becomes your greatest source of strength. It doesn't erase pain, but it gives meaning to it. When you are thankful even in struggle, you transform suffering into resilience and fear into faith. Gratitude helps you see that setbacks are not punishments, but preparations for something greater. Every obstacle carries a hidden gift, and every ending opens the door to a new beginning. When you approach life with gratitude, you no longer see the world as something happening to you, but something happening for you. You recognize divine timing in delays, lessons in disappointments, and growth in grief. Gratitude teaches you acceptance, the grace to embrace what is, even if it's not what you expected. It teaches surrender, not in weakness, but in trust that every experience is part of a larger plan. The more grateful you become, the more peaceful you feel, because gratitude eliminates the endless chase for more. You realize that joy is not found in accumulation but in appreciation. Gratitude also fuels motivation. When you appreciate what you have, you are inspired to make the most of it. It makes your efforts meaningful and your journey fulfilling. Each morning becomes a chance to begin with a heart full of thanks, and each night a moment to reflect on blessings received. Gratitude transforms ordinary living into a spiritual practice. It elevates your energy, heals your heart, and opens your eyes to miracles disguised as moments. It teaches you to see with love, live with purpose, and give with joy. The secret of true success is not found in wealth or fame, but in the ability to say, "I am thankful." Gratitude is the language of the soul, the foundation of happiness, and the essence of a life well lived. When you live with gratitude, you attract peace, radiate positivity, and find contentment in every season of life. So let every heartbeat whisper thanks, let every sunrise be a reminder of grace, and let every challenge be met with the words, "I am grateful." Because when you live with gratitude, you don't just survive, you truly thrive.